Hello Gemini, and welcome to your reading. This is a general reading for all Gemini rising and all Sun, Moon, or Venus placements in Gemini. I will bring in astrological influences for parts of this reading, so if you're not sure of your placements, simply search the internet for a free natal chart and enter your birth date and, if you know it, your time of birth information, including location. It will generate a birth chart for you that will include your ascendant or your rising sign. That's important because when I refer to placements in houses in particular, that will be based on Gemini rising. And so if you have a different rising sign, be sure to check out that reading as well. Although this reading still applies to all Gemini Sun, Moon, and Venus placements. I've shuffled and cleared your cards, and I'll do a quick shuffle cut so that we can start your reading for the month of June. First, I'm going to pull from this deck. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle, to see what message Spirit wants you to concentrate on for the month of June. These are slippery cards. Both of these decks are slippery. Need to be careful. So Spirit, what does Gemini need to concentrate on for the month of June? And we have Yin. Yin is female energy, feminine energy. And I'm going to keep it up here. We'll refer back to it during the reading and use it at the end to pull everything together. And remember, this is a general reading. It's for all Geminis, for the collective. So it's not meant for individual messages like you would get in a personal reading. However, you will be able to connect to some or part of it, maybe all of it, depending on your life situation and the timing. Okay, first I've pulled this, and now I'm going to pull your tarot spread. 5 cards at first, and then as I clarify, we'll be pulling more cards for that. So Spirit, this is your focus point. What does Gemini need to focus on? Oh my gosh. Well, I shouldn't be surprised that it's starting off with the universe. I mean, after all, this is Gemini season. Both the Sun and Mercury, and Mercury is your ruling planet. So you've got you're really highlighted. You're shining right now, Gemini. We'll get more into that as I go back and analyze the cards here. Okay, you also have the Moon for your energy. So Spirit wants you to focus on the completion of a cycle, the completion of some aspect of growth in your life. And they're going to be giving you the energy of the Moon to do that. And that's interesting because the full moon is coming up on the 3rd, and it's going to have a significant impact on all signs this time around, just as it did in May with the eclipse. So you have this energy to help you focus on this goal or this task, this aspect of your life, and feminine energy is going to be a major part of that. Now let's look at possible challenges, and we see the 10 of Swords. It's not nearly as bad as it looks right here. I'll explain later. This is air energy, swords energy. That's Gemini, swords energy, and the 10 of Swords means the completion of a cycle. So something that's been very trying for you, something that's been burdensome and been difficult, very challenging, is about to end. And you will be focusing on moving into this particular round. Okay, now this is funny because this is the energy that is going to help you meet this challenge. And we have the Devil. So, you know the little angel and devil that sit on your shoulders? And the devil wants you to take the easy way out, give in to temptation, do what feels good now rather than in the long run. Some aspect of this, and I will get clarification, is going to help you meet this rumination, this being all in your head about whatever this traumatizing challenge was for you. And then let's look at the final outcome, possible final outcome. Oh, how funny. This is amazing. Boy, are you completing a cycle. This is over with. And notice that the Judgment card here is number 20, and then the Universe is number 21. So you have 3 major arcana cards, 3 out of 5, even though only about not even 30% of the deck is major arcana. The major arcana cards are they're the ruling cards of the tarot. They are the life lessons. We start out with the Fool, number 0, and then he encounters 21 different lessons from which he or she is supposed to learn. And by the way, when I use the gender pronouns, I'm just responding to what I see on the cards or maybe on the traditional deck. These are not assigned to a particular gender. Now, the energy is feminine or masculine energy, but it could be either gender. So the Fool starts out on the journey and has these 21 different lessons that they learn. And they're learning about some aspect of life. One particular focus. And once those lessons are learned and they've been integrated into the Fool's psyche, then the Fool starts on a new journey that focuses on different aspects of life. So, wow, Gemini, this is going to be a fascinating reading. I knew it would be because it's Gemini season. So let's start here. Okay, the universe. It's called the World card in the traditional deck. And it's the world is represented by a victory wreath. In other words, yay, you did it. And now you're going to be ready for the new. Well, now I believe that this is very much related to the eclipse that happened last month. And that full moon eclipse happened in your 6th house of health and wellness and self-care, your self-discipline. And now pets are included in that as well. I don't know if a pet was involved in that eclipse with you, but it's a forceful purging of things. So things you hadn't quite let go of in relation to self-care. I'm feeling self-care and self-discipline. Maybe some old habits, and that would relate to this, perhaps. Some old habits, some old viewpoints, mindsets, ways of looking at that, ways of approaching your health and wellness. And that means mental and emotional and physical. But there was a forceful letting go, a release, so that you could make way for a new attitude. And that happened last month, and that's what you've been sort of being forced to examine. You know, Gemini is not all that introspective. You're the social butterfly. Everyone loves your youthful, animated, expressive personality. You're so clever and witty. You're charming, but you're very intelligent and articulate as well. But that's usually in your interpersonal style. So you are an air sign, and air rules truth and communication, and aligning your principles with your character, your outward character. But that introspection that had to happen with that full moon eclipse, where you were forced to let go of some things and really look at what's working for me, what's not working for me, that went on without you even intending it to. You were not intentionally reflecting and reviewing. It just, those thoughts popped into your head. So this moon energy that is going to help you accept the completion of the cycle that you were in, that eclipse forced on you. The moon is going to reveal some hidden aspects now, some secrets, maybe some aspects of yourself that you weren't acknowledging. And maybe after this growth cycle you've been through, you're you know you're a different person than you were when it started. So you're going to look in the mirror, the metaphorical mirror, and you're going to see the new Gemini revealed by the full moon that's happening on the 3rd. Now, the full moon is happening in your 7th house, this month's moon on the 3rd, happening in your 7th house of marriage and partners, your interpersonal style, contracts, interpersonal style. You know how to manage that pretty well. But the full moon is going to shed some light on that, on your partnership, because if it's a new you, if you got through that full moon eclipse and you are looking at some aspects of yourself that you hadn't really seen before, that are now revealed in that full moon, that is going to affect your partnerships with others at home, in your marriage, or your living arrangements, with your friend group, with your colleagues at work. So that full moon is going to have you examining your interpersonal style, applying the new aspects of yourself that have become an integrated part of you through this completion of this cycle. let's get some clarification. Actually, let's start with the universe, because I'm curious if Spirit will, universe will give you some information on which aspect of your life this cycle was about. And I'm sure it's different for different Geminis out there. We have the Five of Swords, defeat. Two of the fives brings the Ten of Swords. And I know it says ruin up there, but in the traditional tarot, which is what I use for interpretation, there's darkness above, and then there's a dawn, a golden sun. And the person is lying on the ground facing the sun. The figure's facing the sun, looking at the dawn. So yes, it's like this is your opposition card, your challenge card. So you feel, at some point in this cycle, you felt like all was lost. You felt totally defeated, which brings us to this. And the aspect of defeat that this is talking about is there was not a fair fight. Someone played dirty. You were in a situation, you couldn't get out of that situation. You couldn't walk away from it. You had, whatever the game was, whatever the competition was, you had to complete it. So it's not something you could get away from, but it wasn't fair. And you didn't like that at all. But you endured it. You endured it. And you may have felt like it was the ruin of you, the death of you. But that cycle is over. I still want more specifics on what aspect of your life this was about. The Prince of Wands. A Prince of Wands was involved in this. The Prince of Wands is very charming. This is fire energy, so it could be Aries or Sagittarius or Leo. Any kind of placement that defined this particular competition. And that person is very charismatic, and they may have used their surface charm, to win whatever battle this was, to get their way, for an outcome that was not fair to all. I want one more card here. Let's see what's the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is pure happiness and fulfillment. It's not the end of the cycle, though. It's almost the end of the cycle. This is water energy. Is this the only water energy you've got? Well, the moon represents water energy as well. Emotions, happiness, fulfillment, love, creativity. As this cycle was about to complete, after the Prince of Wands won this competition, got their way, you did realize that all was not over. And the universe showed you that, yes, happiness is still going to reign for you, because you're going to leave this behind. You're going to let this be over. Let it go. You're going to release it. And this is a possibility. You did not give up. You did not let it totally defeat you. It did deplete you, but you saw that golden dawn that was happening. Okay. It's still not telling us the area, but let me see what kind of energy the moon, or what area of life this moon energy is going to help you realize the total completion of this cycle. Remember, the moon reveals secrets, and so that full moon in a couple of days is going to show you aspects in your house of partnerships, contracts, sharing, equality, your interpersonal style, that's going to help you finish this up in the month of June and get ready for this eon that's going to begin for you. I don't make sure you can see this. I'm going to put these cards back together so you can see that your final outcome, your possible final outcome, is judgment. We'll talk about how that's the beginning of the new eon here. Okay, so Spirit, tell us what aspect of life is Moon going to show secrets or something hidden, an aspect of Gemini, him or herself, or the people they're working with, that is going to help realize the final closure of this cycle. And it gives us the card of the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands gives you, well, wands in general give you lots of energy, inspiration, but the wands are also about design and planning. This is a choice. So the moon is going to show you, reveal something hidden to you that's going to help you make a choice that gives you energy and inspiration. You're going to be able to, with the new vision you have, you're going to be able to take that information and use it in planning and designing for this new age that's coming on you. And I have a feeling that that is going to, see, the Prince of Wands loves to learn, and the Prince of Wands, but the Prince of Wands is a novice. You know what I'm feeling? This was some younger person that came into your life in some respect, and it created an upheaval. It interrupted your plans, because wands are about planning and design, but this interrupted your plans. So the moon is going to show you, it's going to reveal some kind of truth to you, something that you didn't see before. You're going to be able to get your plans back on track, and you're going to do so with energy and inspiration. And this could have been a feminine energy coming in that sort of upset the apple cart, Gemini, threw you off balance. So your thing is about getting back in control of that, getting that balance back, but doing it with a new perspective by understanding some things that you just didn't see before. And I'm not really picking up that this is at work. It could have just been something in your personal life. I'm not sure. Let's get some more clarification over here. How is the moon energy going to help Gemini focus on this goal to overcome this temporary defeat that was fueled by a young person with fire energy coming in, upsetting plans and making Gemini feel like the game was lost? So what area of life? Seven of Pentacles, failure. So they made you feel like a failure, Gemini. Yes, they made you feel like a failure. And this is in the area, the Pentacles are in the area of your material resources. This is earth energy. And this is the only earth energy you've got in the entire reading so far. The earth energy is your material resources. So that's going to be the cash you have in your wallet and purse. It's going to be your bank accounts, your investments, your retirement account, your work environment. So this could be in your work environment. Okay. So we can include that as well. And the sevens mean that you're reevaluating. Yes, you had to reevaluate after this, and after this feeling, this obstacle that you still have. You still feel very discouraged, Gemini. You're having to stop. And after finding out what has been hidden in your life, not available to you for your consideration, you're stopping and you're looking back. In the original deck, this figure is looking at 6 pentacles that they've acquired, achieved, earthly tasks, okay? Whatever you accomplished on a project, or for your department, in your classroom, whatever it was. And they're looking, and then they look also at this one pentacle on the ground all by itself, and they're asking, is that what I want to keep doing? Do I want to stay on this same path? And do I want to just keep creating more pentacles? Well, this upheaval here And this reevaluation, the reevaluation here is telling you, no, you don't. You don't want to do that. You want to make a different choice because you've got to move away from this energy. Okay, so that's your obstacle. What else is feeding into this challenge that faces Gemini in the month of June? I mean, come on, this is Gemini season. The sun is with them. Mercury, the ruling planet, is with you. Ten of Swords. Oh, good. Ten of Cups. No, not so good. Oh, okay. Now, because we're in the challenge here. So part of this challenge, notice these are both tens. Tens mean completion of a cycle. It may not be the ultimate completion because this is the completion of the journey right here. These two cards in your major arcana. They have a longer lasting influence. The rest of these cards, except for the Devil, also major arcana, the rest of these are pretty much for this current situation in the near future and near recent past. So this is more short-lived, but do you see how you've got a little mini cycle that's finishing up, and these are your obstacles? Well, Gemini, it's not like you're resistant to change, but something about this particular lesson in this particular situation, this defeat and ruin you feel is related to an emotional situation. It could be a love, and you see that you've got partners here. Ten of Cups can represent complete satisfaction. You're satiated, especially. Okay. You were feeling great in a relationship. And it could be that that relationship or a side of that relationship ran its course. And you thought everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, this Prince of Wands, and again, it's masculine energy, but it could be a female, but who was being very willful, very forceful. This energy rode into town, and it caused a conflict. They didn't play fair. So you felt defeated and ruined. And the universe is telling you to let go of this, to either let go of the relationship. It wasn't a potential relationship. It's a relationship that you're in. And you're having to let go of something. Let me see. Eight of Cups. Yes, you're walking away. You're walking away. Whatever emotional fulfillment, whatever satisfaction you felt with this, it's over. And that's very sad. It's very sad. And that's why you feel like this. And you're still in that energy, that feeling of loss and grief. Okay. Now what's going to be interesting is how, so we have that angel and devil sitting on our shoulders. Let's look at this, because this is what's going to help you overcome this. So the devil usually wants you to choose the easy way out. They want you to take immediate happiness over long-term gain, long-term benefits. Give in to temptation. Have fun now. You know, you're alive today. Who knows about tomorrow? That energy somehow is going to help you move through this. So our clarification card, Ten of Pentacles, wealth. Okay, you're going, the Pentacles, earth energy, about your material resources, your work, your security and environment. I think what's going to happen is, Gemini, you're going to sort of focus on work. You're going to put relationships on the back burner. And it could be that some of you out there may have been a workaholic, and that can be to your detriment. And if when you go too much in that direction, it can be a way of putting yourself in denial about things that are going on in your relationship. And maybe that's what was going on. I didn't think this was going to be a relationship reading, but I just keep feeling that with especially as I clarify. There were things you didn't realize, and now this full moon eclipse is going to help you realize that. And it's at work. Now, the Ten of Pentacles is a completion, a mini completion of a mini cycle, M-I-N-I, mini. But you are going to focus on finishing something up at work, ignoring some of this discomfort, getting yourself back on track this way so that you can realize the end of this eon and moving into your new eon. Let me look at Pluto and Saturn real quickly, because they're both retrograding, and it just so happens that Pluto is about to retrograde back into Capricorn. It's been in Aquarius for a couple of months, and now it's going back into Capricorn to finish up some old business. Pluto is the terminator. It puts to death things that, whether you want it to or not, it's going to put to death things that you need to get rid of in your life, things you've got to let go of, the purging. And it's happening right after that full moon eclipse from last month, and it's in your house of shared finances. Shared finances, inner depths and mysteries, inheritance. So I don't know if this means that the Pluto influence of going back now, and this is going to happen for the next 6 to 8 months. I don't know if it means that some of these problems and this obstacle were related to shared finances, or just the fact that you had not gone deeply enough, because Pluto comes back to finish up old business. It wants closure, and maybe it doesn't feel like you were listening to your intuition and examining your inner depths and what you really want out of life. And were you really a match for what felt like this total fulfillment? Is that really you as one person in that pair? So you're going to go back into work. I want to know more about how giving into temptation is going to help you, besides perhaps going back into a workaholic mode. The Ace of Pentacles, definitely. You're going to put aside relationships for a while, and you're going to be all about work and security. You're going to say, well, what I can do is rebuild my bank account, get back into my work environment and really work on shining there. And let's see I want to look at Saturn. Saturn is your inner parent, and it's regressing, retrograding into your 10th house of reputation, status, and career. I think what happened was you were so caught up in this relationship, you couldn't see it clearly. And I feel like you were either betrayed in some respect. I don't know if it was with another person, if this person used you for your money, or what it was. But now that you're going to be seeing some truth, you're refocusing and saying, okay, this was a big mistake. I'm going to learn from it. First thing I'm going to rebuild is my resources, my assets. And that's what's happening now. And that is what is going to bring you to, let me put these back where they belong. That is going to bring you to, you know what? Let me look here again. Yes, it was somebody in your life. I don't know if it was a friend or a partner, a love interest, a colleague, but the female energy is what derailed you. That's what was going on here. It's not that you're going to use your feminine side to help bring things back. This is what derailed you. Whatever that meant in your situation. But now we're going through this cycle because you are focusing on clean house, get a fresh start, a totally fresh start. And you're starting in your material resources area, your work, whatever that means to you. So then your final outcome for the month of June, Gemini, is the Judgment card. The Judgment card is the angel Gabriel blowing his or her horn. And People who were, well, in the traditional card, they're in coffins and they're rising up to answer the call. So a rebirth, a new dawn. And you can see the dawn back there behind the mountains. The mountains show achievement. You are being reborn. And part of that is because of the retrogrades that are happening, this energy. Part of that is the timing is perfect. It's happening in Gemini season. You are already well on your way. And let me look where Mars is. Oh, Mars is in Leo, in your third house of communication, the mind, thinking. So you're going to be communicating at work, your social interactions. You are going to get back in the saddle, as they say. You're going to be back in the saddle. You're going to be ready for this rebirth that's going to happen that brings you to the ultimate climax of this cycle. You will have learned a valuable lesson. You will have found out that it wasn't your ruin, that you had a choice. You can make the right choice. You can look at the full picture that the moon will reveal, and off you go. Another thing that's going to happen is in about 3 weeks or so, the Sun and Mercury will move on to Cancer, which is in your money and job, but it sort of settles things down. That puts the focus on your second house, which is your money and your job, your work ethic. Yeah, and that's where the new moon is going to happen, when you set your intentions. Right now, I think I accidentally told you the Sun and Mercury were in your house of your money and job, and they're not. They're right now. They're going to be, but right now they're in your house of your outward identification, how others see you. So that's really important for Gemini rising, because that is your first house, is your rising sign, your appearance, your attitude. So the Sun and Mercury there means you're sort of reinventing yourself now. You're doing that for your own good. And that way, when Sun and Mercury do move into your money, job, and self-worth, you will have, you're doing it with a new attitude, Okay, well, that's what I have for you in this reading. This was a fascinating reading. Fascinating. I hope that you were able to get some enlightenment, some insight that helps guide you through the month of June. And I hope that you'll be able to come back for more. Thank you so much for clicking on this reading. I'll be posting more in the coming weeks. Relationship and love, even though this really was more of a relationship reading. Relationship and love, money and career, and both of those seem to be very relevant to the path that you're having to take right now. I'll also do a mid-month checkup and an end-of-the-month summary. So please do come back, Gemini. And if you were able to connect with this reading, thank you for giving me a thumbs up and for subscribing if you like. And I look forward to our next reading. Thank you.